Welcome to the
Welcome
End
to the
Zone.
end zone. I'm Rob.
I'm Ray, and today we're going to be talking about how our week four went, get into the fantasy week for our teams this past week, and then also, some recap around the NFL. Talk about some breakout players from this past week and some big time injuries that happened. And then we're just going to talk about, going into week five, the potential pickups that may help people, and just conclude the episode. And before we jump into that, we're today on uh, the virtual side. Both of us have, full-time jobs, so it's kind of time constraint there. So today we made it happen virtually for the first time, testing it out. Hopefully it comes out well. But let's go ahead and get into it. How was your week four?
Yeah, kind of, the virtual studio, this is our first real chance at it. So hopefully it goes well and everybody enjoys and the platform works good. So this could be a good option for us in the future because, we live about 35 minutes from each other and sometimes there's logistical challenges connecting throughout the day and throughout the week.
Right.
So that being
Um,
said, yeah, my week was pretty good. I got, I was working hosting open houses over the weekend, so I didn't get to watch a whole lot of football on Sunday. So I was a little surprised when I go to look and I had a little window and I saw Rasheed Rice was out, so I had no idea what happened. And I went back and saw all the highlights and everything. And when you know it, man, Mahomes throws an interception and he tries to make a tackle and he got hurt trying to
yeah,
make a tackle with his quarterback falling into his leg.
a little friendly
So
fire.
yeah, so I was on the winning side this week. It was good. I didn't get biggest blowout, but I actually had a healthy win margin, so that was nice. It was good to see Chase doing his thing. You know, I had James Conner did good. I had Kelsey got double digit points for a change, so that was nice.
Yeah, he looked good.
Mason did good. So one of the things that I kind of learned this week for myself is, now with Rice out, I got Jaden Reed, who had a great game, and I had him on the bench. So that could have helped me with, overall points, but, I did get the victory, so I guess I can't complain too much. So how was yours?
It wasn't too bad. It's just I ended up playing the highest scorer of the week. So, Mr. Sin City Raiders, Marco, shout out to you. 141.38 points. So he had C.J. Stroud, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Stephon Diggs, Alvin Kamara, Zach Moss, Mark Andrews, who got him a goose egg, but made up for it with, Jacoby Myers and Younghoe Koo got 20 points out of the kicker spot for him,
Hmm.
and Kansas City defense. So I unfortunately fall into 1 and 3. I feel like I'm kind of playing everybody on their high weeks, unfortunately. So my season total points against is 528.68 points, and that's
That's
by far
rough.
the most in the league. So that's how it goes in fantasy sometimes. But overall, my team did pretty solid. I mean, Justin Fields, I kind of called him out, last week talking about the Colts Steelers game, and he really performed for me. So that was nice to see. Justin Jefferson doing his thing, Malik Neighbors, Jonathan Taylor, who ended up getting hurt, unfortunately. So hopefully he's ready to go for this next week because I'm
Hmm.
like, man, I have J.K. Dobbins on a bye coming up. So, um, but he did good. And then Devon Achane flopped. I picked up Elijah Higgins for tight end, didn't really pan out. But yeah, I mean, overall, my team did pretty solid. It's just, played a juggernaut this week, so can't really do much there. Some takeaways I had this week. I mean, honestly, I'll start off with our team, the Dolphins, looking still really tough with even with Tyler Huntley at quarterback. So me having Devon Achane in that second round's kind of not looking as pretty as I wanted it to be. But with fantasy football, you draft guys off potential, not potential surroundings or injuries sometimes. So
Right.
uh, yeah, that's one key takeaway I had is Dolphins are really screwed right now.
They
What
look
about you?
dysfunctional. I really
Yeah.
felt, watching. I had bowling Monday night, and I was able to watch the game. I don't have ESPN at the house, so we went to the bowling alley early and watched. And they just look so dysfunctional right now. And I don't know, I know there's been a lot of changing, but the running game hasn't been able to get going. Achan was so explosive last year with, big play after big play. The holes were there, they were able to get the edges, and he was just up the sideline and gone. They're not having that this year. And then, the passing game is non-existent. They had
Man.
77 yards in the first half, which was terrible, you know. And so it's been kind of rough to watch what they're putting out there. I know Hill's frustrated. I think everybody's kind of frustrated. I just with Huntley, I don't know what maybe he was just nervous because he hadn't played in a while. But Monday night, he looked out of sorts and looked very dysfunctional. So I'm hoping that they can get that righted. There's been
Yeah.
a lot of parity in our fantasy football league this year. So we got two people that are 3-1 that have kind of been towards the bottom the last couple seasons, and then we got a whole bunch of us 2-2, and then sadly you and Gabs are 1-2 on the tail end. But
One,
everything's
three,
still within reach. And yeah, you've had a tough dose of it this year because you've gotten everybody's best week so far in the early
yeah.
season. So, and I feel you with your number one pick. My number one pick was McCaffrey. I don't even know if he's going to play this year. So, and then
Yeah,
Achan,
that's
that's a tough one when you have such a high pick.
yeah.
So, so we're just kind of in survival mode, trying to do the best that we can. So I think, yeah, it's been wild. Watching that Sunday night game though, freaking Derrick Henry. I mean, that first play from scrimmage, 87-yard touchdown, and that's just what he does. And Baltimore looks like probably the best team right now. Another surprising team has been Tampa Bay. They handled Philly pretty well. So from what I saw, and it's kind of interesting. I didn't think their defense would be able to stop as many teams as they've been doing early on this season. So but I think Philly's got some struggles too with wide receivers getting dinged up and stuff, and I mean they got Saquon Barkley in that running game, but when you're able to stack the box, there's only so many lanes you can run through.
Yeah. Another thing
So
too, Jalen Hurts has been turning the ball over like crazy, so doesn't really help either when you got your big receivers out, and then on top of that, you got your quarterback turning the ball over.
yeah.
Um, yeah, Phillies. Once they get healthy, they'll probably be okay. Uh, what about man, Jared Goff, Mr. 18 for 18? That was pretty nice. The running
Yeah.
backs too, man. I mean, Gibbs and Montgomery, they really look like they're going to be just consistent all year. So that's pretty good to see too for fantasy owners.
Yeah, that's a great one-two punch. They performed well last year. Gibbs as a rookie and Monty, doing his thing coming over from Chicago, and yeah, they've still been electric with both of them. Monty's more physical. Gibbs has got the speed and agility, and so they've been a nice. And then Jamison Williams, I mean, he only had a
Jameson
couple
Williams is
catches, but
looking legit.
it seems like every week right now he's got a big
Yeah,
play, at
I think
least
there's
40
like
yard plus.
one game he didn't do anything, but the other games he's been just catching bombs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
that
it's
team
kind of
is looking real good.
yeah for sure. Yeah, there's a lot. I don't know. It's been pretty interesting. I think Detroit's looking tough. Baltimore's looking tough. Tampa Bay's looking tough. Kind of surprising the Broncos. I know they won 10-9. They beat the Jets. The Jets got handled pretty well, but they've been a pretty scrappy team as well. Their defense has been playing pretty good, and they've been kind of a surprise. And then same thing with the Washington Commanders.
Man, they've been looking good.
Jaden Daniels looking
Yeah,
pretty nice right now.
Jaden Daniels is looking real good. I mean, he's completed like 81% of his passes or something like that through the first 4 games. That's just
Hmm.
as a rookie, especially. That's insane. Uh, yeah, I mean, he looks like he's just an absolute fantasy stud this year. Chiefs offense, I mean, it'll be kind of interesting to see how they mold together. Kareem Hunt looked pretty good in his first game back, so could be a nice surprise. And then I think you don't wish injuries on anybody, but I think this is going to unlock Travis Kelce a lot more with Rasheed Rice down. So they're going to need him, and Xavier Worthy will get some extended touches. A sleeper guy, honestly, in that offense will be Juju Smith-Schuster, though. I think, they're going to have to throw the
Hmm.
ball more to him. He was a big part of that Super Bowl run they had, and I think he'll fit in just fine with the offense, and already has that kind of rapport from before. So
Yeah,
be interesting to see how they use him.
yeah. Another guy that we always kind of tend to see pop in there is Justin Watson. He's a big body guy. He always seems to be making big catches, he's not always going to have the flashy games, but he always makes those big catches at weird, not weird time, but like odd times in the game when you least expect it. So I think they're going to be okay. Losing Rasheed Rice is huge, and then not having Hollywood Brown, that's another blow. I mean, he hasn't. I don't know if he's going to play at all this year either with that chest injury.
Yeah, I think
So
they're
yeah,
the only hope is like postseason maybe for him. On a positive note, though, the Browns uh they opened the window for Nick Chubb to return, so he should be back. Nice little injury note for people. Hopefully he can perform like he did, kind of like J.K. Dobbins.
yeah, that
Um,
would be good.
yeah, another
You
big
have you
injury.
have Chubb, right?
I do have
But you
Chubb.
haven't.
Yeah, he's on my R spot. I have T.J. Hawkinson too. T.J. Hawkinson too, who they're gonna activate his window Friday. So I'm like, man, let's go. Tight ends. Tight ends have been trash this year. It's like, dude, like pick your poison.
Well, it's kind of funny because we were talking about Isaiah Likely earlier, the
He looked
beginning when we
like he
first
was
started
gonna
recording,
be a
and
breakout year, and then yeah,
him and Mark Andrews have been kind of non-existent, you know. I mean, Justice Hill has been stepping it up, and he had such a good game this last week,
yeah,
against Buffalo, and I think with Henry, Jackson, and Hill, they're kind of got that little three-headed monster going in the backfield, and they haven't been able
yeah.
to really get much downfield as far as receivers go. So but I mean, when you're running the ball and controlling the clock, why not? So,
That's kind of John Harbaugh's style too. Even Jim is just like ground and pound. So
mhm,
uh, it's kind of like living to his identity. He's always liked the tight ends, but funny like he's not using them this year. But he's always like a run game guy too. I mean, when Ray Rice before all his legal stuff was there, like he was phenomenal, and then
mhm,
Gus Edwards in this offense looked like a beast. J.K. Dobbins. So uh, now you got Derrick Henry there, who's just man, he's looking super good, even though he's 30. I mean, he's kind of like I feel like an anomaly where he's just going to keep producing. I mean, he's so big and physical; it's kind of hard to just stop the guy when he's going full speed. So,
yeah,
uh,
yeah,
yeah, and then yeah, there was injuries too in the Colts game. So obviously, dang, I dropped my phone. Jonathan Taylor, uh, man, like he was looking good, and then he hurt the same ankle that
mm,
he had the surgery on. So I'm kind of like, man, dude, that's kind of nerve wracking. They said it's supposed to be a mild. I don't know how a high ankle sprain could be mild, but a mild high ankle sprain. Um, so this week, I mean, they're gonna play Jacksonville. I almost feel like it's kind of a trap game without him, and it's gonna be raining
mm,
in Jacksonville. Anthony Richardson got banged up, but I think he's gonna be good to go.
mhm.
Some people are saying pick up Trey Sermon, but I'm like I don't know, dude. I don't know if the Colts will be. They might run more with Richardson in the red zone, and then we'll see how it unfolds. But it'd be kind of interesting to see like how they handle the rain with Trey Sermon, if they're just going to hand it off to him a lot, or if they're going to
Mm.
kind of play more with Anthony Richardson and him using his legs more. So, but yeah,
Yeah,
that was a big time injury there. Another takeaway. I mean, Baker Mayfield looked great. Uh,
hmm,
Against the Eagles. Andy Dalton with the Panthers looks like he's giving them some life. So Chuba Hubbard too, man. He's looking
yeah,
pretty good in that offense. Yeah, I mean, those are probably the biggest takeaways. I mean, obviously Sam Darnold, Jordan Love had a good contest. Yeah, I would say those are probably the biggest takeaways I had for week
yeah.
four, just kind of looking at it.
I think
Uh,
Jordan Love. It's kind of nice seeing him getting back in. They kind of looked like they had something going with Malik Willis, and
yeah,
then Jordan Love comes back and he's just balling
he
out.
was kind of
So
flat at first too. It was funny. Like he was kind of struggling to start the game, and then I was like, holy cow, maybe they should have stuck with Willis. And then he just kind of came back and
yeah,
started doing his thing. So yeah, some breakout guys. I mean, this past week, one I saw was DeAndre Swift. He went off for 26 points. I
hmm,
think it might be a little fool's gold though, given like how bad he's been playing with the Bears. But I mean, you
yeah.
never know. Could be the start of something for him. So, any breakout performances you saw? kind of caught
Um,
your eye?
I kind of liked uh Chase Brown.
Hmm.
He had 17 touches this past week, and he was kind of splitting carries with Zach Moss. Um, but the thing with Chase Brown is they got Baltimore coming up, and then they
Yeah,
play the Giants, Cleveland, Philly. So he's kind of got the next four games are going to be a little tough. But I mean, if you need some desperation depth, it could be a good target if
might
he's
be me.
available. Another one, Josh Downs. He had 9 targets, 8 receptions, 82 yards, and a touchdown. He's had 14 targets the last 2 weeks. So, and they're playing Jacksonville, so I know it's going to be raining, but that could be another pickup that's if someone needs some wide receiver depth, that could be a good target. Justice Hill, I like to say he's trending upward, but with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson, those guys get the bulk of the carries. But
Yeah,
man, when Hill gets that ball, coming out of the backfield as a receiver,
he's
he's
looking
pretty
good. Yeah,
deadly.
as a receiver.
So, and the other one I saw was Tucker Kraft. He had 9 targets in week 4 with Love coming back, 6 receptions, 53 yards, and a touchdown. And he also got a 2-point conversion. So, and then they got the Rams and Arizona coming up. So those could be some favorable matchups for a tight end.
Yeah,
So,
I was actually looking at him too. He was a sleep or like a breakout guy I saw too, and I'm like, man, I picked up Evan Ingram back up, but I don't know if he's gonna be good with that hamstring. So I'm like, I was kind of keeping my eye on Kraft. Funny enough,
mm,
another guy I saw too was Dontavian Wicks. He's Christian Watson got hurt, so another kind of
hmm
bigger injury. He's not super involved with the offense as he first started, but kind of opened up some targets for Dontavian Wicks, and he had a couple touchdowns. So he's kind of a guy that's under the radar when Jordan Love likes to find him in the red zone and hit some touchdowns. So I feel like he'll probably be more that red zone guy if you're looking for someone to maybe get a touchdown or so and kind of rely
hmm
on that. Um, yeah, so he was a big one. Another guy I saw, I mean, obviously Tony Pollard did good, but he's pretty owned. In terms of breakouts, I mean, those are probably Chase Brown was, yeah, he was one I talked about, or I was going to talk about, but you beat me to it. Cortland
That's
Sutton
all right.
looks like he's kind of settling in,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, there's not much super breakouts this week where it's like, oh, like go pick him up now. I feel like, if you're going to consider like a breakout for a season, Sam Darnold's just kind of doing his thing crazy. Justin Fields
hmm
kind of had his big breakout finally that I know I've been waiting for. So he's not super highly rostered in leagues.
Keep it going.
Yeah, and then Baker Mayfield, dude, like Baker Mayfield's he's looking good. So, um, yeah, I would say those are probably the biggest breakouts. So Kraft, Chase Brown, uh,
Yeah.
Dontavian Wicks. I mean, I guess you could consider Kareem Hunt. He looked good too. So
Yeah.
yeah, and then obviously we covered the injuries with Rasheed Rice, Jonathan Taylor. So if you guys need pivots, I mean, maybe look at
Yeah.
guys like Wicks, look at guys like Chase Brown, look at guys Kareem Hunt. And
So how are
so
you preparing for the week? Are you still going to roll with your usual lineup? You making some adjustments?
I would say it's kind of tricky. Yeah, so this week I'm playing my fiance. Uh, funny enough. So, but whoever wins that game, she kind of helps me get right. Usually in fantasy, I usually beat her, but kind of nervous this time around. I have Jonathan Taylor who's banged up, so I don't know if he's even going to play. Devon Achan, I'm just going to keep rolling the dice with him. I feel like he hasn't had that big breakout game yet.
hmm
So, and they're in a divisional game against the Patriots.
hmm
Maybe some opportunity, hopefully. Uh, and then what I'm really nervous about is my quarterback situation, though, because I have Anthony Richardson, who's, like I said, in Jacksonville. It's going to be raining a lot. Uh, Justin Fields, who's against Dallas, but again, it's going to be another rain game
Yeah.
at night. So I'm like, by default, I might just roll with Jaden Daniels, who's been balling out, but he's playing Cleveland. So I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm kind of weighing my options. I'll probably see how the weather pans out as the week progresses, if it's going to be just light rain for a couple guys. Because
hmm
based off matchups, I mean, probably Fields the most against Dallas. I know I'm kind of biased with Fields, but I feel like, Dallas has just been getting shredded this year on
Yeah.
defense. So, and Fields plays pretty solid in the primetime games.
Pars
I just remember like last year.
Parsons got hurt.
Oh, go ahead.
Parsons got hurt too, right? Isn't he?
Yeah, Parsons is out
Yeah.
too. Yeah, I think I don't know if he'll be, I don't know what injury he had actually, but I did see he got injured.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like Jacksonville by default would kind of be like your one where it's like they just been getting tore up all year. But Anthony Richardson kind of makes me nervous this year. He was looking good against the Steelers actually, but before he got hurt, but he's been turning the ball over a lot. And then without Taylor, it's going to be a little interesting. But
Yeah.
maybe it'd be in his favor too. Maybe they'll kind of favor him. But
Hmm.
right now, I got Jane Daniels in there. It's kind of see how it pans out with the weather, and then might have to make a move at running back and tight end. Uh, so I'm a little nervous going into this week, but how about you?
So I'm actually switching it up a little bit. Mahomes has been my guy for probably like the last like 3 years, and I'm actually going to pivot this week. I'm going to start Baker. I drafted him and
Nice.
dropped him because I picked up Aaron Rodgers after week one, thinking, okay, I might have, or actually, I drafted Aaron Rodgers, um, and then I decided I'm going to drop Aaron Rodgers. The last couple of weeks, he's been kind of not really doing his best, and Baker seems to be trending upward. They play Thursday night. Should be a good game. I feel like it's going to be a shootout. So I'm actually going to pivot this week. So I have no Rasheed Rice. So I'm going to actually go with Baker Mayfield. I'm going to stick with Jamar Chase. I got Jaden Reed now, my wide receiver too. I'm sticking with Mason and Connor as my running backs, Kelsey my tight end, and I'm actually going to put Jordan Addison in my flex this week. And then, kicker, sticking with McPherson. Miami's D, I'm going to stick with them against New England. Had Miami and Buffalo, my two options. Miami and Houston. Houston plays Buffalo, so I'm not really feeling that one. I mean, Buffalo, they're either really good or really bad. They got manhandled by Baltimore, but Baltimore's got a top tier defense. They're always, top three, top two
Yeah,
in the league, if not
man, that
the top
defense is so
defense.
tough every year.
So that's kind of how I'm going to shape up this week. I do play Sin City. He's been beating up on the competition, so I'm projected to win as I am every week, but you never know. Projections don't mean nothing when it comes
Yeah.
to game time. So,
Yeah. Do you have any I don't know, pickups you'd recommend for the coming week? I know you kind of mentioned Kraft, but
like I said, Chase Brown, they have a tough matchup. That was one guy that I was kind of leaning towards, trying to justify actually picking him up myself because I got on my bench, I got Jerome Ford, and he's been decent. He hasn't been having that great game like he's had last year when, he went on a stretch. And I think he was probably like the top five fantasy producers for running back last season. So I'm still kind of waiting. Another one I have who I'm not willing to get rid of is Charbonnet. I have him stashed on my bench. He did good again with limited touches this past week. And so they play the New York Giants. Kenneth Walker, he's got an injury history. And, so if he goes down again, I'm definitely starting Charbonnet. He's already been,
kind of like a handcuff
the
guy.
first 3 weeks he was, double digits. And then last week he still got 7.9 points in a limited role. So I'm going to hold on to him. I have Najee on my bench. I don't know. He has yet to find the end zone. So I'm kind of thinking this could be a game against Dallas where they're going to try to pound it out with him and Fields. So I might pivot to Najee, but right now I'm leading with three wide receivers, in my lineup. So
Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, some guys I have an eye on are if you guys play full PPR, Wan'Dale Robinson would be absolute gold for
mhm.
that. Half PPR even, he's been pretty productive. So if you guys are looking for a receiver fill in, I think he's a solid bet. One guy that's on the upward trend that nobody is probably going to be really talking about or knowing too much about is Antonio Gibson for the Patriots.
Mhm.
I think Ramondre Stevenson might have lost the starting gig. Um, at least there's talks of it. And Gibson's been looking really good as a back, and they play Miami this week, so he's actually a guy I'm looking to pick up maybe. And then the third guy, I think Tutu Atwell. If you guys are looking for a receiver, like I said, he's for some reason he always balls out when the the big receivers are injured in that lineup. So if you're looking for a receiver to kind of fill in for,
Hmm.
Tutu Atwell might be a good bet there. So
Yeah, I think that's a great one because Tutu, the Rams that depleted receiving core, he's been kind of the guy that's been getting the looks and he's such a dynamic speed guy. So
absolutely,
yeah, I think that's good.
yeah, he's
Xavier Leggetti too is another one for Carolina is kind of stepping it up. He had a really good last week. 10 targets, 6 catches, had a touchdown. He also had 2 carries for 10 yards. So another guy that could be trending upward. Especially with the red rifle there.
yeah, man, he's looking pretty sharp.
Yeah. So those would be my suggestions. I mean, we've already kind of talked about the last couple of weeks of key pickups. I picked up Addison. I'm going to be using him this week, so I'm looking forward to see how he continues to come back and produce. So 21 points this past week, so I was a little pained to see that on the bench, but it's all good.
Yeah, man, he looked good. Yeah, like I said, Sam Darnold, like I think it's more the offense, and he kind of found his groove. And I guess this could be a little segment too. We talk about what are they gonna do, man? Like he's 4-0. If he rides the season so hot, like do you stray from him next year with JJ McCarthy healthy, or do you just kind of keep the ball rolling and give him the benefit of the doubt? So it'll
Well, I think
be interesting
I
to
think
see.
as a coach, you got to roll with the hot hand, right? O'Connell, I feel like if he can give McCarthy a chance to continue to develop while not being in game
Yeah,
time
it's
situations, I
important.
think that's going to help him
Definitely important.
in the long run.
Yeah,
Because I feel like if, with Sam Darnold, I mean, yeah, he's been kind of a journeyman. He hasn't really panned out to what everybody thought he was going to be. But, this year he's really shown a lot of growth and the leadership qualities, and he's
yeah.
playing at a high level. So, I mean, you got to stick with the hot hand. So,
He's literally like probably the best quarterback in the league right now.
yeah,
If you're going off stats, obviously like Mahomes is talent wise, but just looking at stats, I mean, I don't think there's anybody better than Sam Darnold right now. It's just kind of like he's going off.
yeah, yeah.
Pretty
He's been hot.
funny.
Him and Baker Mayfield have probably been the two hottest quarterbacks. So,
Yeah, it's nice to see them, especially Baker. I've been a Baker fan since he was in college, and I really wanted the Dolphins to get him, but I was like, he's going to go number one that year, and he did.
hmm
But yeah, it's good to finally see him like find his home too, and maybe Sam Darnold did the same. At the least, you just kind of ride it out with Darnold until McCarthy's healthy, and weigh your options from there. Like depending on how Darnold finishes, and
yeah,
because I mean, 4 games is realistically a kind of smaller sample size, so he's always kind of had those random games, but yeah, see if he can string it for a whole year and see how it works out for him.
yeah. I mean, he's got 11 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He's only lost one fumble this year,
Yeah,
so that's pretty darn good. He's taking care of the ball. He's got great receivers. And then
yeah,
sprinkle in a little
that's
Aaron
for sure.
Jones. So
And you're getting Hawkinson back. I
yeah,
mean, so
so
it's looking pretty good
kind
for
of
him.
like an embarrassment of riches over there in Minnesota. So
Their defense too. I mean, I know they give up a lot of yards, but you got Brian Flores there, who's pretty got a competitive defense. So they're kind of tough at times too. They one thing about Brian Flores I remember with Miami was he really had a bend but don't break defense. Like we give up a crap ton of yards, but then we'd be good in the red zone and get those turnovers.
mhm.
So kind of seeing that with Minnesota too. I think they picked off Jordan Love like 3 times or something like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah, he did.
another thing too, you got the defense.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty nice. What's happening over in Minnesota. So yeah, I just kind of man, just the Dolphins have just been frustrating. It was so painful
Yeah,
to watch this past Monday, and
man.
I'm not looking forward. We're 1-3 right now. It's not looking good. It's not
Yeah.
looking good right now.
I, s- I saw something. They're like, man, if they keep struggling like this, like, do you even rush to it back? Like, or just, I would just let him, if he wants to play still, just at least give him the rest of the year off if we keep sucking like we do. There's no need to come back out and risk your life, bro.
No, no, not for what's happening.
So,
Yeah, I think
yeah, it's kind of tough, man.
yeah. Well, I think you got any other closing thoughts or
No, just, hope you guys enjoyed this first virtual experience with us. Like, I think we did a pretty solid job. So hopefully, something we could keep implementing a bit,
Hmm.
and hopefully it sounds good and looks good. But thanks so much for whoever comes and watches for the support. Like we said, we're just doing this for fun, and hope you guys take whatever advice we give, or just like hearing us geek out about sports. So feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and then also follow our Instagram, and get the TikTok up and running too. So go ahead and check that out. So
Nice. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. This is always, a great experience. And, we got some challenges, trying to work out the kinks doing the whole virtual recording. So this is our first one. So please bear with us. I feel like we're getting better every week. So shout out to Ray for all the social media work he does, all those nice blasts you see throughout the week. That's all coming from Raymond. So props to him for getting that done. Thank you all for watching. Have a good one.
alrighty,
Bye.
see ya.